Welcome to Endorphasmic, where we talk about all things endorphasm. I am your hostess, Erica Porter. You don't get to be angry anymore. Yeah, said it. And I know some of you immediately push back. I'm human. I'm allowed to feel anger. You are. You are absolutely allowed to feel it. But once you understand what it costs you, once you understand what it does to your thinking, your energy, your decisions, you don't, and maybe I shouldn't say you shouldn't live in it anymore. Not if you actually want to evolve. Because once you become an emotionally and intellectually evolved adult, anger stops being your reaction and it becomes your responsibility. I've lived in rooms where anger didn't get shut down. It got put to work. The red room, that red room. Dark, loud, gritty. Music hitting your chest. Yes, that's me hitting my chest. 60 minutes where there's nowhere to hide, and every single person that walked into that space, they brought something with them: stress, frustration, resentment, anger. Nobody walked in there clean. But here's the difference. We didn't try to get rid of it. We taught people how to channel it. You could see it. You could see somebody walk in tight, jaw clenched, shoulders high, energy scattered. And the first few minutes, it's messy. Weights moving way too fast, breath out of control, no rhythm, no connection. That's anger without direction. But then something happens, right? They locked in. They started to move with intention. The same energy that was chaotic became controlled. That anger didn't disappear. It got refined, turned into stronger reps, sharper focus, cleaner execution. Instead of exploding outward, it drove them forward. Because anger is energy, and energy doesn't need to be eliminated. It simply needs to be directed. We didn't say calm down. We said use it. Put it into the lift. Put it into the sprint. Put it into showing up when you don't feel like that, when you don't feel like it, when you don't feel like it. And when you do that, you stop being controlled by the emotion and you start controlling what it creates. Here's where so many people get it wrong. They think anger is the problem, and it's not. The problem is what you do next, because anger feels powerful. Let's be honest, it spikes your system, but then, right, after it gives you that momentary rush and it sharpens your focus just for that second, it narrows you, it limits your thinking, it locks you into reaction mode. And if you stay there, you're not solving anything. You're just spinning and spiraling. And for me, this is the truth that most people that are dealing with how to use anger, this is what they avoid. They are not reacting to reality. They're reacting to their interpretation of it, what you think it means, what you decide it says about you. And that story, that's what fuels the anger. There were days building endorphasm where everything felt like it was falling apart. Schedules breaking, people canceling, money was tight, energy gone. And you want to talk about anger, it would have been easy to snap, easy to blame, easy to say this isn't working. But every time I leaned into that, nothing got better. There was no clarity, no solution, no forward movement, just more frustration. So I learned something fast, and that is anger doesn't build anything, action does. So instead of reacting, I adjusted, I rebuilt, I showed up anyway, again, and again and again. And that's how something survives. That's how something becomes what it's meant to be. And then life hits you in a way that strips everything down. No music, no lights, no countdown clock, just reality. Cancer, stage 4. Now let's talk about anger, because if there was ever a moment where anger had a right to take over, that was it. And it showed up. Not loud at first, quiet, heavy. That internal voice saying, this isn't fair. Why me? How is this happening? I could feel it building. My chest was tight. I had racing thoughts, energy with nowhere to go. And then something hit me. This feeling, I know this feeling. I've coached this feeling. I've watched people walk into it and walk out stronger because they learned how to use it. So the question became for me, am I going to let this consume me, or am I going to channel it? Because anger in that moment wasn't going to heal me. It wasn't going to change the diagnosis. It wasn't going to buy me time, but it was energy. And energy, if you know what to do with it, is fucking everything. So I did exactly what I've taught for years. I redirected it. That anger went into how I trained, how I showed up in my body, how I made decisions about my health, how I chose to live every single day, every rep, every ride, every step, not perfectly, but intentionally. Because here's the truth that nobody told me. When life hits you like that, you don't get unlimited energy. So if you spend it on anger, you have less left for healing, thinking, fighting, and fucking living. And I wasn't willing to waste it. Anger didn't go away. It just stopped being the driver. And this is what I feel emotional evolution actually looks like. Not pretending you don't feel anger, not suppressing it, but refusing to lead, or not lead, to let it lead. You feel it, you acknowledge it, and then you decide, what is this going to become? Because anger is a signal, but it's not a strategy. And I'd like to try and challenge you a bit. I feel like a lot of people hold on to anger because it gives them an out. It lets them blame, justify, and stay exactly where they are, because once you let go, now you have to act. Now you have to decide. Now you have to move. And this is the endorphasm mindset, the power of the feeling of the power. You don't deny emotion. You use it. You take everything, the frustration, the fear, the anger, and you turn it into movement, because movement is where things change. So no, you don't get to be angry anymore. Not in the way that keeps you stuck, not in the way that makes you small, and certainly not in the way that hands your power away. You can feel it, but then you decide, am I going to sit in this, or am I going to solve something? Anger is energy, so use it or let it use you. But don't pretend that you don't have a choice. Love, health, and happiness, and always much respect.